Greetings, CIRI shareholders, descendants, and families. Welcome to CIRI's 2022 Virtual Friendship Potlatch. I'm Sophie Minnick, the President and CEO of CIRI, and it's an honor to host this year's Virtual Friendship Potlatch. This year's Potlatch is being filmed at CIRI's Fireweed Business Center in Anchorage, Alaska. I am thankful for our Dena'ina Athabascan ancestors who, for thousands of years, have been stewards of the land on which we work, live, and play. I am grateful for the care and stewardship of our past generations, and I commit to honoring and preserving this land for future generations. Our last large in-person gathering was our 2019 Friendship Potlatch. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years. I can tell you I am looking forward to our next in-person gathering, and for now, your participation through this year's Potlatch provides an important connection for us all. Sharing in our traditions, whether in person or virtually, is a way to document and pass on knowledge, connect with one another, and celebrate. Autumn invites us to slow down and enjoy the fruits of our labor with friends and loved ones, and is the inspiration for this year's theme of harvest and celebration. Sharing what we have with others is an important Alaska Native value that has allowed Alaska Native people to thrive in challenging times and in seasons of abundance. CIRI Board Chair Doug Fifer is joining us today to share some thoughts on this year's theme and our shared values as Alaska Native people.
Thank you, Sophie, and welcome CIRI shareholders and descendants to the 2022 Friendship Potlatch. My name is Doug Fifer, and I'm the chair of your CIRI Board of Directors. I'm excited to participate in this year's Potlatch, and I think the Harvest and Celebration theme is an important message about our traditions as Alaska Native people. Throughout Alaska, the subsistence way of life that has sustained our people for thousands of years is still practiced today. Activities like hunting game, harvesting fish, and using the resources of our land help nurture the long-established ways of life for Alaska Native people. And these activities are an important part of remembering and honoring our heritage. The people of Tyonek spent the warmer months of the year growing and tending their crops so that when fall arrived, they could harvest, gather and store the food that will help sustain them through winter. I'm excited to learn more about their journey and harvest this year. Of course, not all of us have access to subsistence foods and practices. I know that my Thanksgiving dinner will be a mix of traditional foods and items I have purchased at my local supermarket. Even more than food itself, I am grateful for my family and friends and the time we spend together. I wish our shareholders and descendants much joy and celebration as they gather with their loved ones. I could not be prouder of our corporation and the unity among our CIRI family. Together, we continue our work to instill pride in our shareholders and descendants, preserve and perpetuate Alaska Native culture and heritage, and support current and future generations through CIRI's work to ensure that our stakeholders thrive. As this year comes to a close, I would like to thank everyone who is part of our CIRI family. Our collective resilience, determination, innovation, and cooperation help us to navigate challenges and bring us together to celebrate these qualities that have sustained Alaska Native people for thousands of years. Thank you for embodying these values and living our collective ideals. I wish you and your families the best this holiday season, and on behalf of the CIRI Board of Directors, we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you, Doug. Should you have questions for Doug or any of our directors, you may reach them at board@ciri.com. For more information about the CIRI Board of Directors, please visit the CIRI website, ciri.com. As a reminder, the Board of Directors will soon be recruiting applicants to serve on the CIRI Board. There are 5 seats on the CIRI Board of Directors up for election in 2023. Voting CIRI shareholders who are at least 18 years of age who are interested in board service should consider applying. If you have any questions about the process or want to learn more, application materials and more information will be available on the CIRI website on November 28th. Keep an eye on the Raven Circle newsletter and our social media feeds for further updates. Within the CIRI region, there are 7 villages: Chicaloon, Eklutna, Kanik, Ninilchik, Salamadov, Seldovia, and Tyonek. CIRI's connection with our village and tribal partners highlights our shared values, and our partnership is our strength. We accomplish so much more when we all work together. This summer, members of the CIRI team took a trip to Tyonek to assist the Tyonek Tribal Conservation District and Native Village of Tyonek with its Tyonek Grown program, an agricultural program aimed at enhancing food security and providing fresh organic vegetables to community members. I'm excited to share highlights of this summer's visit with you now.
My name is Tanya Kaloa, and I am the programs coordinator for Tyonek Tribal Conservation District. I've been with the organization for 8 years. I am a Tyonek tribal member and a Tyonek shareholder, and my parents are the late Roxanne McNoyes and Marco Kaloa. What really interested me in Tyonek Tribal Conservation District was the work they were doing for the environment. And I knew that there was a garden that was getting ready to be developed. My grandmother back in the 1920s was a farmer here in Tyonek. And so knowing that knowledge that my people had brought in food here and had gardens and was providing food, just strengthened my interest at being a part of the TCD. We actually have a variety of tribal members and shareholders that work here. A lot of them are youth. We do a summer youth program every year. This year, the Tyonek Native Corporation was a big help and a support at having funding for these interns to work here, and so it's been a big success.
My name's Alexi AJ Alawan. I'm from Tyonek as of right now, and I come from Alawan and Chickalusian family. Every year we get a fall moose, and then we make lasagna out of grounded meat, and then we can get tomatoes, and then we make our own tomato sauce, and then we just make our own lasagna with tomatoes and moose meat. I think it's important because, we get vegetables and produce out to the elders and community and to the elders program.
My name is Marion King. I am from Native Village of Tyonek. I serve as chair of Tyonek Tribal Conservation District. What I know is families would have potlatches and they would bring gifts to hand out to people. Everybody would bring food. There was so much beef, so much food. The youth would dish out everybody, the adults. They would dish them their food. And of course the dancing, drumming, dancing, the cultural part of it, was always my favorite part. And they would hand out vegetables to the community members, wanting people to make dishes with it. I used their carrots and onions and celery in my split pea soup. If I can cook for the whole entire village in one sitting, I would in a heartbeat.
Having the garden here and having it coincide with our subsistence, which is king salmon, moose meat, and having that coincide with our food intake is very important. And so I think knowing the balance of the community, knowing the garden is here, there are youth here working, is a big impact because we could kind of trade a little bit more to the labors and the fruits of our work. And so the elders, when they speak to me, they're telling me I'm doing a great job, and at the same time I get to listen to them and say, are we growing the things that you actually like? Having a good, clear communication, I think the community really enjoys having the garden here, and knowing that they have access to it is very important.
Thank you to everyone in the community who worked so hard to make the Tyonek Grown program a success. Your work certainly embodies harvest and celebration. Following our harvest, we celebrate preparing our meals and sharing them with friends and family. I am excited to have CIRI shareholder Nikki Graham join us to share one of the ways that she shares her harvests. In addition to serving as the Director of Operations and Human Resources For the Alaska Native Heritage Center, Nikki is a graduate of Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts. She is joining us to share her preparation of a moose lasagna that was inspired by CIRI's visit to Tyonek. You can find this recipe on the CIRI website. If you do not have access to moose meat, you may easily substitute the game meat of your choice or a combination of ground beef and sweet Italian sausage. Take it away, Nikki.
Waka Winga Aka Nikki Graham Aga Aska. Hello, my name is Nikki Graham. I serve as the Director of Operations for the Alaska Native Heritage Center. My Yupik name is Aga Aska, and I'm really honored to be here today because of my background in culinary arts to share a recreation of a traditional recipe with you. The recipe that we recreated today was inspired by the village of Tyonek. And so we used moose meat, which is a traditional ingredient and staple in a lot of Alaska Native households. We used tomatoes. In this instance, we used canned tomatoes, but this was really inspired by a lot of the produce that can be grown in Tyonek's garden. We made a little bit of a different spin on lasagna today, so just a little bit elevated. We made a traditional bolognese sauce, which is an Italian sauce, where we ground the ground moose. We added a little bit of pork fat in it just for flavor and extra fat because the moose tends to be pretty lean. We made a traditional mirepoix. We deglazed with a inexpensive red wine. Today we probably cooked it for about an hour and a half, so till everything reduces down. Just adds really great layers of flavor. And then we used canned San Marzano tomatoes, which are one of the best tomatoes if you're cooking and making sauce from scratch. That's something you definitely want to use. They're from Italy. And we cooked the lasagna noodles. We used cottage cheese and ricotta cheese, which are two creamy, mild cheeses. We put fresh basil in there as well as seasoned at every step of the way. And then we layered. And in between those layers of lasagna, we used Parmesan and mozzarella, and then we topped it with a little bit of fresh mozzarella cheese as well. Wherever I'm at, I get inspired by the ingredients that are indigenous and local to that area. And so that's exactly why this moose lasagna was really special to recreate, inspired by ingredients from the village of Tyonek. We grew up eating a lot of meat and potatoes. I come from a commercial fishing family, so along with moose and deer meat, we ate a lot of salmon and halibut and anything that could be grown out of our garden. It's our connection to our land and who we are as Native people. For me, it's a connection to my own identity, and our ability to practice subsistence is really our connection to who we are, our way of life. And so it's important that we have the ability to sustain our subsistence rights and be able to have access to those things, because these foods have nourished our people for thousands of years. And it's when a lot of Western influences have come in that our people have gotten unhealthy diets or things that aren't natural to their diet. So it's really, really important for us to be able to preserve those cultural practices and traditions such as subsistence. So this kitchen is really special to the Alaska Native Heritage Center, and we're really grateful to CIRI who made it possible. So as a pass-through of CARES Act money, we used those funds to create this commercial kitchen space. And so it allows us to celebrate our culture, bring community together. So we're really, really excited about the potential that this commercial kitchen allows for us.
Thank you, Nikki. The Fall Friendship Potlatches are a long tradition for CIRI shareholders and descendants. These events provide us with the opportunity to connect with one another, share food and culture, and honor our loved ones who have recently passed. The traditions we share at our potlatches are similar to those that have served our people for thousands of years to celebrate life and help families and communities heal from their losses. The loved ones who have left us still play important roles in our lives, and they always will. We gather to strengthen the identity and unity of our people and to reaffirm the importance of family, friends, and the cultural traditions of our shareholders and descendants. One of the traditions of the Fall Friendship Potlatch is the Athabascan Memorial Cloth Ceremony. Cloth ceremonies were traditionally held during funeral or memorial potlatches. Many of you have been collecting cloth strips from years and years of these events, and we want you to continue your collection. If you are interested in receiving a piece of cloth from this year's potlatch, please email potlatch@ciri.com and we will have one shipped to you for your collection. For now, let's take a moment to remember those shareholders who have left us this year. Thank you. I would now like to welcome Susan Anderson, President and CEO of the CIRI Foundation, to draw some prizes. Winners' names have been randomly selected from CIRI's list of registered shareholders and descendants.
Wasa'ayati, which is how are you in Tlingit. I'm Susan Anderson with the CIRI Foundation. I'm lucky enough to be the president and CEO, and I am very happy to welcome you to the 2022 virtual potlatch once again. Very pleased to co-host this with CIRI. TCF, as you might know, provides scholarships and grants to original enrollees, their lineal descendants, and CIRI voting shareholders. So it could be for any kind of schooling, 2-year, 4-year, master's degree, PhD, vocational training, certificate training, all sorts of things, including we have a cultural fellowship, so you could even learn how to weave and weave a basket or weave a hat. So as mentioned, we serve original enrollees, lineal descendants, and voting CIRI shareholders. And you can find out more at the CIRIFoundation.org. So I would go to the CIRIFoundation.org to find out more. And we do have a December 1 deadline coming up, which opens up on November 1. And today I have some amazing prizes to share with you. Every single CIRI shareholder and descendant's name was put into a drawing hat, well, metaphorical hat, I believe, and 5 winners were drawn. So 5 winners out of the shareholders and descendants. So I'd like to share what those artists or art pieces are, and then I'll share their names. The first prize is going to be a carved ivory seal mounted on a fossilized whalebone base by Siberian Yupik artist Ronald Kennevic of Savunga, that's on St. Lawrence Island. And the artists from the collective villages of St. Lawrence are well known for their master ivory carvings ranging from imaginative abstracts to hyperrealism. A pair of small dance fans with white fur and tight grass weave handles by Yupik artist and Army veteran Kathy Johnson of Hooper Bay in Southwest Alaska. And her village is known for their collectible grass coiled weavings. We also have a tall relief carved and painted yellow cedar eagle plaque with an inlaid abalone eye by Tlingit artist Brown Willard of Juneau, Alaska. We also have a small soapstone dancer with an inlaid ivory face by Inupiaq artist Eric Tetpon. The Tetpon family originally come from King Island and are well known for their varied carved, scrimshawed, and painted arts in ivory and soapstone. Eric is out of Nome and Anchorage. A matted form line art print by master Tlingit artist is next. Israel Shotridge, who is part of the Bear Clan from Ketchikan in southeast Alaska, is well known and sought after for his multidisciplined artist work, from prints to jewelry to carvings, from small to large, and including a totem pole that's found out at the Alaska Native Heritage Center. And now for the lucky winners. We have, for the form line art, Melissa Anderson Stewart of Wasilla, Alaska. No relation that I know of. Soapstone Dancer goes to Crystal Marie Moon of Tyonek, Alaska. Dance fans, Frida Wallers of Homer, Alaska. The Eagle Plaque to Roger Lee McFarling of Anchorage, Alaska. And the Ivory Seal goes to Rachel Lee Smart of Hemet, California. So that's very exciting. Congratulations to all of the winners. And I really hope that these beautiful Alaska Native made pieces of art warm your heart and your home for many years to come. And I do wish you a very warm and wonderful holiday season with your friends and family. And I say, Gunashish.
Thank you, Susan. In September, Susan announced that next year she will step down as the head of the CIRI Foundation. For 23 years, Susan has led the efforts of the CIRI Foundation in enriching the lives of thousands of CIRI shareholders and their descendants through post-secondary scholarships and grants. Her commitment to education, culture, and heritage will continue well past her tenure at the CIRI Foundation. Thank you, Susan, for your many years of dedicated service. Thank you, too, to the Alaska Native Heritage Center for providing the prizes for today's potlatch and for Nikki's masterful cooking demonstration. I am so impressed by the work of the Heritage Center and thankful for our continued partnership. I'm glad you joined us today. The CIRI Board of Directors, staff, and I wish you all a safe and happy Thanksgiving and holiday season. And we look forward to seeing you soon.